So today, because I finished the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, I just wanted to talk a little bit about what I think Nintendo's going to do afterward for the Legend of Zelda series, because Tears of the Kingdom is a really big game. It's also a really good game, and I could spend the whole time just sort of gushing about it and how much I like it, but I thought it'd just be more interesting to talk about what they're going to do with the series after this game. Uh, so I there's a lot of speculation, of course, about what they're gonna do. Um, I think they've said that they're definitely gonna stay. Um, they're gonna keep making games in the style of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, so this big open world, do whatever you want style, as opposed to the older Zelda games, which are much more linear. So yeah, they're definitely, I think, gonna do the the same style as Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, and I think sort of the thought crosses my mind of them maybe reusing the same world again and doing a third game just to have a trilogy, but I don't think they're gonna do that. But it is sort of a little thing on the edge of my brain to think that I think about is that what if they just did a third one? What if they reused the same game world a third time and it was just as good? Um, I'd sort of like to see them try that, but I don't think that's what they're gonna do. I think they're sort of they're done with this world now, especially because Tears of the Kingdom's development cycle was like 6 years, so I think they're just sort of probably tired of this same world that they've been developing now for like more than a decade with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom combined. Um, so yeah, I would expect that the next game, despite having the same style of Tears of the Kingdom, would be just a little bit more toned down in the sense it's just I think it's going to be a little bit of a smaller scale. Because I don't think you can just keep sort of upping uh, the ante over and over again. Tears of the Kingdom has sold super well and it's been received super positively, but I feel like it's not a good idea just to try to outdo it immediately, because you just get to the point where it just becomes just completely unreasonable just doing these bigger and bigger things. So I think it probably will be on the smaller and the smaller side of things, because it's just like, man, Tears of the Kingdom took like 6 years to make. Part of that was due because of COVID and things that happened with that or whatever. That was probably part of the reason. That definitely impacted development somewhat. But I would assume and kind of just hope that the next big Zelda game doesn't have as long of a development period. We're not looking at even longer, like 7 years or something like that, because it's just like that's a really really long time. Um, so yeah, I think it's just gonna be just a smaller scale sort of thing, definitely the same style, but I don't see them sort of trying to outdo Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild and that sort of thing. I think they're going to try to do something uh, more so entirely new and have different abilities and the different, just different in that way sort of thing. Because it is sort of after finishing Tears of the Kingdom. I mean, part of the reason I just want to make this video is just because it's like after a game like that, after as big of a game like that, it's just what the question really is, just what do they do after this? I mean, do they try to do another big gigantic game that takes them more than 5 years of development time, or do they just slow it down a little bit and just do something lower key? And I feel like they're gonna try to do something lower key, just because Tears of the Kingdom is so gigantic, it's so big that it's just like I don't think they want to immediately do just another one of those. I mean, um, maybe, I mean, maybe they're gonna want to do it just because it's sold so well. So that's what they just, this is just what the Zelda franchise is now. It's gonna be these humongous games every single time, which I don't necessarily have a problem with. Uh, but like I said, I just get the feeling that it's just gonna be toned down, a little bit or whatever, because Tears of the Kingdom is just so just incredibly gigantically large, that I can't see them wanting to try to outdo it immediately, because that just feels like it's like the biggest video game of all time if they try to do that. I think they've got to go not necessarily back to the drawing board, but just sort of, you know, just kind of focus on something that's different, or sort of reinvent. I'm sure they're already working on something now, obviously. But yeah, I just, again, like I said, after finishing Tears of the Kingdom, that game is just astoundingly large. It's just a humongous video game. So it's just like, immediately you think about, okay, how do they top this, right? How do they do another game like this, or that's similar to this in that sort of way? And I feel like they've got to, they're definitely going to keep toward that same style, because obviously this style sells really, really, really well, and people like it. I like it, but I can't see them sort of, doing a game that big again immediately afterwards. That's like, man, you just got to work on something smaller scale or whatever. And of course, yeah. So I mean, that's what I think. It's got to be a smaller scale sort of thing, and it's going to be similar style, but not the exact same thing sort of thing. And that's yeah. So that's what I think. So bye.